Chapter 2. Seconds before Mr. Robbins walked in, I lower my hood, click off my iPod, and pretend I'm reading a book, not bothering to look up when he says, "Class, this is Damien Auguste. He's just moved here from New Mexico. Okay, Damon, you can take that empty seat in the back, right next to Ever. You'll have to share her book until you get your own copy." Damon is gorgeous. I know this without once looking up. I just focus on my book as he makes his way toward me, since I know way too much about my classmates already. So as far as I'm concerned, an extra movement of ignorance really is bliss. But according to the innermost thoughts of Stacy Miller, sitting just 2 rows before me, Damon Auguste is totally smoking hot. Her best friend, Honor, completely agrees. So does Honor's boyfriend, Craig. But that's a whole other story. "Hey!" Damon slides into the seat next to mine, my backpack making a muffled thud as he drops into the floor. I nod, refusing to look any further than his sleek black motorcycle boots, the kind that are more GQ than Hell's Angel. The kind that looks very out of place among the rows of multicolored flip-flops currently gracing the green-carpeted floor. Mr. Robbins asks us all to turn our books to page 133, prompting Damon to lean in and say, "Mind if I share?" I hesitate, dreading the proximity, but slide my book all the way over until it's teetering off the edge of my desk. And when he moves his chair closer, bridging the small gap between us, I scoot to the farthest part of my seat and hide beneath my hood. He laughs under his breath, but since I yet to look at him, I have no idea what it means. All I know is that it sounded light and amusing, but like it held something more. I sink even lower, cheek on my palm, eyes on the clock, determined to ignore all the withering glances and critical comments directed my way. Stuff like, "Poor, hot, sexy, gorgeous new guy, having to sit next to that freak." That emanates from Stacy, Honor, and Craig, and just about everyone else in the room. Well, all except for Mr. Robinson, who wants the class to end almost as much as me. By lunch, everyone is talking about Damon. "Have you seen the new kid Damon? He's so hot, so sexy. I heard he's from Mexico. No, I think it's Spain. Whatever, it's some foreign place. I'm totally asking him to winter formal. You don't even know him yet." "Don't worry, I will." "Oh my god, have you seen that new kid Damon?" Haven sits beside me, peering through her growing out bangs, her spiky tips ending just shy of her dark red lips. "Oh please, not you too." I shake my head and bite into my apple. "You would so not be saying that if you'd been privileged enough to actually see him," she says, removing her vanilla cupcake from its pink cardboard box, licking the frosting right off the top in her usual lunchtime routine, even though she dresses more like someone who'd rather drink blood than eat tiny little sweet cakes. "Are you guys talking about Damon?" Miles whispers, sliding into the bench and placing his elbows on the table, his brown eyes darting between us, his baby face curving into a grin. "Gorgeous! Did you see the boots? So rouge. I think I'll invite him to be my next boyfriend." Haven gazes at him with narrowed yellow eyes. Too late, I call dibs. "I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were into non-goths," he smirks, rolling his eyes as he unwraps his sandwich. Haven laughs. "When they look like I am. I swear, he's just so freaking smoldering. You have to see him." She shakes her head, annoyed that I can't join in on the fun. He's like consputable. You haven't seen him? Miles grips the sandwich and gapes at me. I gaze down at the table, wondering if I should just lie. They're making such a big deal. I'm thinking it's my only way out. Only I can't. Not to them. Haven and Miles are my best friend. My only friends, and I feel like I'm keeping enough secrets already. I sat next to him in English, I finally say. We were forced to share a book, but I didn't really get a good look. Forced? Haven moves her bangs to the side, allowing for an unobscured view of the freak who dare say such a thing. Oh, that must have been awful for you. That must have really sucked. She rolls her eyes and sighs. I swear you have no idea how lucky you are, and you don't even appreciate it. Which book? Miles asks, although the title will somehow reveal something meaningful. Wuthering Heights. I shrug, placing my apple core on the center of the napkin and folding the edges all around. And your hood? Up or down? Haven asks. I think back, remembering how I raised it right as he moved towards me. Up, I tell her. Yeah, definitely up, I nod. Well, thank you for that, she mumbles, breaking her vanilla cupcake in half. The last thing I need is competition from the blonde goddess. I cringe and gaze down at the table. I get embarrassed when people say things like that. Apparently I used to live for that kind of thing, but not anymore. Well, what about you, Miles? You don't think he's competition? I ask, diverting the attention away from me and back on someone who can truly appreciate it. Yeah. Miles runs his hand through his short brown hair and turns, gracing us with his very best side. Don't rule it out. Totally moot, Haven says, dusting white crumbs from her lap. Damon and Miles don't play for the same team, which means his oh-so-devastating model quality looks don't count. How do you know which team he's on? Miles asks, twisting the cap off his vitamin water and narrowing his gaze. How can you be so sure? Gaydar, she says, tapping her forehead. And trust me, this guy does not register. Not only is Damon in my first period English class and my sixth period art class, not that he sat by me, and not that I looked, but the thought swirling around the room, even from our teacher, Miss Machado, told me everything I need to know. But now he'd apparently parked next to me too, and even though I'd managed to avoid viewing anything more than his boots, I knew my grace period had just come to an end. Oh my God, there he is! Right directly next to us! Miles squeals in the high-pitched, sing-songy whisper he saves for life's most exciting moments. And check out that ride! Shiny black BMW, extra dark tinted windows. Nice, very nice. Okay, so here's the deal. I'm going to open the door and accidentally bump into him, so then I'll have an excuse to talk to him. He turns away, awaiting my consent. Do not scratch my car, or his car, or any car, I say, shaking my head and retrieving my keys. Fine, he pouts. Shatter my dream, whatever, but just do yourself a favor and check him out. And then look me in the eye and tell me he doesn't make you want to freak out and faint. I roll my eyes and squeeze between my car and the poorly parked VW Bug that's angled so awkwardly it looks like it's trying to mount my Miata. And just as I'm about to unlock the door... Oops, I lost where I was. Oops. Miles yanks down my hood, swipes my sunglasses, and runs to the passenger side where he argues me via not-so-subtle head tilts and thumb jabs to look at Damien, who's standing right behind him. So I do. I mean, it's not like I can avoid it forever. So I take a deep breath and look and what I see leaves me unable to speak, blink, or move. Even though Miles starts waving at me, glaring at me, and basically giving me every signal he can to abort the mission and return to headquarters. I can't. I mean, I'd like to, but because I know I'm acting like the freak everyone already convinced that I am, but it's completely impossible. And it's not just because Damon is undeniably beautiful, with his shiny dark hair that hits just shy off his shoulders and curves around his high sculpted cheekbones. But when he looks at me, when he lifts his dark sunglasses and meets my gaze, I see his almond-shaped eyes are deep, dark, and strangely familiar, framed by lashes so lush they almost seem to fade, and his lips are ripe and inviting with a perfect Cupid's bow, and the body that holds it all up is long, lean, tight, and clad in all black. Ever? Hello? You can wake up now, please? Miles turns to Damon and laughs nervously. Sorry about my friend here. She, has her hood on. She usually has her hood on. It's not like I don't know I have to stop. I need to stop right now. But Damon's eyes are fixed on mine, and their color grows deeper as his mouth begins to curve. But it's not his complete gorgeousness that has me so transfixed. It has nothing to do with that. It's mainly the entire area around his body, starting from his gorgeous head and going all the way down to the square-cut toes of his black motorcycle boots, consisting of nothing but blank, empty space. No color, no aura, no plushing light showing. Everyone has an aura. Every living being has swirls of colors emanating from their body, a rainbow energy field that they're not even aware of. And it's not like it's dangerous or scary or in any way bad. It's just part of the visible, well, to me anyways, magnetic field. Before the accident, I didn't even know about things like that, and I definitely wasn't able to see it. But from the moment I woke in the hospital, I noticed color everywhere. Are you feeling okay? The red-haired nurse asked, gazing down anxiously. Yes, but why are you all pink? I squint, confused by the pastel glow that enveloped her. Why am I what? She struggled to hide her alarm. Pink, it's all around you, especially your head. Okay, sweetheart. You just rest and I'll go get the doctor, she said, backing out of the room and running down the hall. It wasn't until after I'd been subjected to a barrage of eye exams, brain scans, and psych evals that I learned to keep the color wheel sightings to myself. And by the time I started hearing thoughts, getting life stories by touch, and enjoying regular visits with my dead sister, Riley, I knew better than to share. I guess I'd gotten so used to living like this, I'd forgotten there was another way. But seeing Damon outlined by nothing more than the shiny black paint job on his expensive cool car is a valued reminder of happier, more normal days. Ever, right? Damon says, his face warming into a smile, feeling just another one of his perfection's dazzling white teeth. I stand there, willing my eyes to leave his, as Miles makes a show of clearing his throat and remembering how he hates to be ignored. I motion towards him and say, "Oh, sorry. Miles, Damon, Damon, Miles." And the whole time my eyes never once waver. Damon glances at Miles, nodding briefly, before focusing back on me. And even though I know this sounds crazy, for the split second his eyes moved away, I felt strangely cold and weak. But the moment his gaze returns, it's all warm and good again. "Can I ask a favor?" he smiles. Would you lend me your copy of Wuthering Heights? I need to get caught up, and I won't have time to visit the bookstore tonight." I reach into my backpack and retrieve my dog-eared copy and dangle it from the tips of my finger, part of me yearning to brush the tips against his, to make contact with this beautiful stranger, while the other part, the stronger, wiser, psychic part cringes, dreading this awful flash of insight that comes with each touch. But it's not until he's tossed the book into his car, lowered his sunglasses, and said, "Thanks, see you tomorrow," that I realized that other than a slight tingle in the tips of my finger, nothing happened. And before I can even respond, he's backing out of the space and driving away. "Excuse me," Damon says, shaking his head as he climbs in beside me. "But when I said you'd freak out when you saw him, it wasn't a suggestion. It was supposed to be taken literally. Seriously, Ever, what happened back there? Because that was some mega tense awkwardness and a real 'hello, my name is Ever, and I'll be your next stalker' kind of moment. I'm so serious. I thought we were going to have to rescue you. And believe me, you are extremely lucky our good friend Haven was not here to see that, because I hate to remind you, but she called dibs." Miles continues like that, yammering on, the entire way home. But I just let him talk it out as I navigate traffic, my finger absently tracing the thick red scar on my forehead, the one that's hidden under my bangs. I mean, how can I explain how ever since the accident, the only people whose thoughts I can't hear, whose lives I can't know, and whose auras I can't see, are already dead?